County Democratic Committee meeting. My name is Brian Graham, and I'm the chair of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee. And I want to welcome you to our September meeting. I think people are a little bit late joining just because the debate is going on now. And if you're like me, the parts of it that you did hear got your blood boiling already. But we're happy that you're here, and we hope that more folks will join us shortly so that we can actually conduct business. For our thank you for joining us virtually. We are still worried about the coronavirus, so we want to keep everyone safe. So we are conducting this meeting virtually, and we'll do that kind of as quickly, or well, hopefully we can get back to a virtual hybrid meetings again, not just purely virtual meetings. While we are operating virtual meetings, we're operating them the same way that we have done in the past. If you would like to be recognized to speak or to make a motion, you need to use the raise your hand icon or button, and use the Q&A for questions that or things that you want responded to. The chat, sometimes it scrolls by and we might miss an item. So the question and answer feature, the Q&A feature, is the right way to get your attention to Jack and myself. I will also just point out, if you would like to make a motion like calling the question, you cannot do that from chat. You need to be recognized to do so. So enter the queue by raising your hand to do that. If we do conduct a virtual vote of some kind, we'll initiate a poll. You'll be able to see the poll on your screen, although you might need to exit to full screen to access the voting window. And the window will disappear when you submit. And then after voting is done, we will share our results. I think everyone's familiar with that. So we can get into the approval of agenda and minutes. And I'd ask if there are any changes to the agenda or minutes. Ms. Sandra Clausen has her hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Brian. Very small on item 9F. I would like to change single payer healthcare to national healthcare.
Oh, on the minutes. Yes,
please, on the minutes.
Okay, without objection. Are there any other changes to the minutes or the agenda? Hearing none, and without objection, they are adopted. And we can, so I moved, oh yes, okay. And our next item of business is approval of new members. The members on the screen are pending members who have submitted applications to the Fairfax County Democratic Committee. Because we're about to head into reorganization, this is probably the last time we do this. And I believe a couple of these people have not been approved by their district committee committees yet. So the motion I'm looking for is to affirm these people as members of their respective district committees when elected, if not already elected. And I see hands raised. And Mr. Beeman is first, so I will allow him to speak first.
Amani and Mayatala should be added to Drainsville. I believe she was voted in our last meeting. And I'm not actually sure that we have voted in John Krause or Cindy Gersony. So I'm not sure where those names came from. Actually, I'm sorry, we did vote in John Krause. Thank you.
So just to clarify, some of these names may not be voted on by the district committees already. And Andrew, if you're out there and yeah, I'm going to allow you to talk. Because I'm not sure if we've already voted on the first person that you've already mentioned or whatever. I'm trying to pull up the list, the membership report list right now. the next, so I'm working on an
I'm
answer
here,
for you.
Brian.
Okay, I don't know if you have better access to that. Oh,
I don't have better access while I'm on a Zoom.
okay, let's see, I'm pulling it up. While we're looking on that, Mr. Yohai, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. And I just want to be sure that this is the proper time and place to do this, but we have a few members in Braddock who are returning to voting status and a few more who aren't listed here who want to be voting members. And I would like to amend the motion to add their names, please.
So, I mean, I'm looking at the membership report for Drainsville as an example, and the only two people that are listed are these two people. So I guess the question to both, so to clarify, if someone is returning to voting membership, they've already been voted on as a voting member of FCDC, we do not need to, actually.
I may have been given contrary information then.
Actually,
Brian,
no,
if
that is true. We do need to vote them back in as a voting member. So I am standing corrected myself on that. Can we let me, I guess, amend this list with the people that we're talking about. Of course, this is approval is contingent on kind of having everything done, kind of dues paid, or a waiver in place and such. But Aaron, go ahead with additional members.
All right, we have Andrew Miller, current associate member, as well as Lisa Kubisky, who's a current associate member. Jenny Russell.
Can you spell?
Yes.
Sorry.
Kubiske.
Okay.
And Jenny Russell. That's Jenny with an I and no E.
And a J?
Jennie. Okay. And then David Silversmith is a new member. And all have been approved by Braddock.
Okay. Moving stuff around. Okay. And then Jimmy says for Drainsville, we're missing Amani and Naltola in Yachula. Okay. I also have more to, so gentlemen, is that resolved to your satisfaction at this point?
Thank you.
Okay. And I also have a question from, or a hand raised from Mort Downey. Okay. It'll take me a second to. Mort, did you have a question? You're on mute if you have a question.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other discussion? Not seeing any other comments. Okay. Let's see if I can fix the name in here. Spelling on there. Okay. All right. And we do see, we'll get you an answer on that question, Patricia. Since these are kind of recommended from the district, so we are going to conduct a vote to affirm the above persons as members of their respective district committees when elected. And let's go ahead and conduct that poll. And do I need to do that? Okay. Okay, it's been 30 seconds, so I'm going to kind of ask for a last. Oh, it's already done. I mean, it was unanimous. So without objection, but just wanted to have the formality of that with new members as we are changing who can vote on things. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Our next order of business is the introduction of special guests. If you looked at the email agenda, this is slightly just misordered or a different ordered. But I do want to recognize our special guests, David Broder and Ron Cooley. David Broder, of course, from SEIU 512, and Ron Cooley from IIFF Local 2068. And let's see if we can find them and promote them. We've got David. Do we have Ron? Ah, there we go. Okay, they're coming. They're coming on board here. Whatever they really want to talk about, but I know they want to plug in for the rally for collective bargaining for frontline Fairfax County employees that's coming up. So, gentlemen, go ahead.
Thanks so much, Brian. Yeah, for the chance to be here. I'm going to defer to my firefighter brother there to kick us off.
I didn't know you would do that while I was driving. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right, perfect. Hey, all, thank you very much for this great opportunity to talk to my sisters and brothers. And it's an honor to be here with Dave Broder, who's been leading the way in labor and such a strong, great advocate and a great mentor to me in labor, as well as and just to thank you all. You know, this is the most dramatic change in our labor law in probably close to 40-something years. Local 2068 initiated and worked with having the first contract in Fairfax for collective bargaining back in the early 70s. And then, as many of you know, the Commonwealth, the Supreme Court ruled it illegal in 1977. And thank God now, here we are. It's about time that Richmond passed that legislation that truly helps the workers of this great Commonwealth. And now we're going to tilt the balance. And, you know, working with great leaders again, as Dave Broder, that we're tilting the balance that has been going in the wrong direction against county employees for nearly 50 years. So I'm asking all of you a personal favor, a big personal favor. Please continue to support us. Be there on Tuesday, October 5th, outside the Government Center at 3 o'clock. Support your county employees, support your county professional firefighters and paramedics. And then when we're listening to those naysayers, to those folks, whether it's from the Board of Supervisors, the one dissenting vote, or this knucklehead that's running for governor, when we listen to those naysayers that were aligning themselves with that, I always ask, what are they worried about? What's the concern about collective bargaining? It's a pretty simple concept. We're negotiating between an employer and a group of employees to determine the conditions of employment, wages, employee protection hours, unsafe conditions. Everyone's interests are considered. This is a fair and equitable way to make sure that everybody is inclusive as it relates to our rights as employees here in Fairfax. And all we are looking for is a better way to serve the community and make sure that our members' voices are heard. Having a voice is the most important safety tool we have for firefighters. It's the key to our staffing, training, equipment, fair living wages, and an opportunity to retire with dignity. And you all stepped in there with us and stood by us 3 years ago when Pat Harity and company were coming after us and our pensions. So now we have the ability to collectively bargain for our safety, our wages, our working conditions to protect our families as we protect your families. Please, I'm asking you, be there with us on Tuesday, 3 o'clock. Stand with us. Our county will work best when county leadership, the firefighters, general county employees work together as a team to make collective bargaining agreements. And this is going to be better for all of us. So I'm going to defer now back to Dave as he put me on the spot while I was driving. I apologize for that, but thank you all very much, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Thanks, brother. It's hard to follow Ron Cooley there, laying it out what's at stake. I just wanted to call attention to the chat where we put 2 links for exactly what Ron talked about. I just want to say briefly, as a local labor leader, as an FCDC member, as the dad of FCPS students, I'm really honored to be here with everyone tonight. Together, we have done amazing things, right? Together, labor and FCDC has made our community a more just place. We know the work we are doing is paying off. Virginia moved from the worst state for workers, according to Oxfam America, the worst state for workers in America, to 23. That's a huge joke to the 23rd best, but we're not going to stop until we're number 1. And one of the ways we get to number 1 is not just saying it's great that we repealed the ban on collective bargaining. It's time for Fairfax County to pass collective bargaining rights for frontline firefighters, first responders, mental health workers, the health department workers who've been giving vaccines. That's what we have the chance to do. I want to thank the Fairfax Board of Supervisors who've worked with us so well. Next Tuesday is the public hearing and the final vote. We know that Glenn Youngkin and the Republicans will be out there saying workers shouldn't have rights. We would love to have our FCDC family join us. Again, I'll put the links in the chat again. The 2 things that I would ask everybody to do tonight is click on that first link to send an email to the board. Let them know that you stand with us. They know the community supports collective bargaining rights. 68% of Virginians do, but let them know, remind them, they want to hear from you. And then join us on October 5th at 3 o'clock. There's a link to the Facebook group. I'm thrilled to announce tonight that Congressman Jerry Connolly is going to join Ron and us and our members at that rally. I know he'd love to see you all. So Brian, thank you so much for this opportunity together. I truly believe that we can make Fairfax the best community for workers in Virginia, and Virginia the best Commonwealth for workers in America. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you. And we're, of course, we're happy to support our friends in our unions and our brothers and sisters in unions. And I will be joining you as well. So looking forward to it. And again, pointing everyone to the chat, if you haven't seen it, links about emailing the board and also about joining the rally for collective bargaining next Tuesday, right? Next Tuesday at 3 p.m. So looking forward to it. Thanks. Okay. Let's see what's next on the agenda. And I am getting I know what's next on the agenda, but we might need to shuffle things around just a little bit. Just to take a moment though, are there any of the organizers from the Virginia Turnout Project present to make a campaign report? Okay, well, we'll get more into that in my report as well. So we'll definitely take some time to get on to that. But I think next we have on the agenda, we have election for vice chair of voter registration and education. I am being told that we are looking for someone. Denise has a great point. Come to the rally. Also come get a vote or come vote early if you haven't done that already. That's a great point. I'm seeing that Janice Yohai is having some technical difficulties, and she's asking for me to wait on this. So if I can, maybe without objection, kind of just skip to the treasurer's report and then come back to the election for vice chair of voter registration and education. Hopefully those technical issues are worked out. So let's see how I do that. 27. Just like that, poof. All right, I believe I need to allow Andrew to speak again. Nadia, I believe, is unable to attend today, so in her place.
Actually, I believe Nadia is here, so she would probably like the floor.
Well, I guess I should have just looked. I assume. Well, you both have the floor.
Hi.
Part of this screen is visible. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I get the whole treasurer's report in there. Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so hi, I'm sorry, I think I told you I was going to tell you if I could not attend, but I guess you didn't remember that.
I don't remember anything. Sorry.
That's okay. So I'm joining you guys here from California, and I'm having a good time here. So I'm not going to take too much of your time on the treasurer's report. This report reflects where we were on September 21st, which was the last day I was able to be in the office and create a report. So it's a little bit behind. I understand we've been getting in some more funds since then. But basically, it also reflects most of the money from the Jefferson Obama dinner, but not all of it. So I believe that where it shows that our position right now is that we have $102,000 in the bank, I'm sure that we have more like $120,000 in the bank. So this is just for FCDC. The second page will show you where the district committees are. And you can see that the district committees, some of them have started giving money to candidates and have drawn down their funds, and others are actually building up funds like Drainsville because they have a big fundraiser coming forward, and Springfield had a fundraiser that not all of that is in there yet. All of this will be in by the end of the month, which is tomorrow or the next day. So if there's any questions, this is basically the treasurer's report for now.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, someone just asked with what corp does FCDC bank?
With who is our bank?
Yeah, I think that's what the question is.
It's called what's it called? United Bank.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I haven't received confirmation yet that we're good to go. So maybe I'll just get into my report and we'll just chug along. I guess I'll stop sharing. I don't really need to be here. Okay, so just I mean a few things, right? We are in a fight. We have made tremendous gains in making Fairfax and Virginia blue, but we don't have Donald Trump on the ballot this year. And I know, polls are one thing or whatever, but polls are showing the reflective reality that we don't just have this automatically in the bag. Not everyone understands that Glenn Youngkin and his pals threaten the progress that we've made here in Virginia. And if we are going to defend women's rights, LGBTQ plus rights, workers' rights, the right to vote, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that everyone in Fairfax County votes, right? If we to steal an anachronism, well, if we vote, we win, right? Like if we in Fairfax County, it's important that we do everything we can to get people out to vote. So I'm calling on you, as all of our members, to do everything in your power. If you have some extra time to volunteer, if you have a little bit extra cash to give it to candidates that you want to help get across the finish line. In putting in this specifically, I also want to add that we're looking for volunteers to be inside poll watchers for early voting and on election day itself, but also for volunteers outside the polls. So I know Jack and I have sent a couple emails about this. If you haven't seen them, reach out to us if you have time and ability to do that. And of course, the coordinated campaign itself is, or the Virginia Turnaround Project is running canvases every weekend in phone banks and text banks and all kinds of things, right? So, we are here in the moment, right? It is voting season, and we need to do everything that we can to win and to win big in Fairfax County. So that's my primary ask to you as the chair of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee and as members of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee. Kind of on that note, and I don't know how willing this is, but I have decided to run to be chair of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee again for a second term. So I know That's not till January, but I just wanted to mention it as it is a decision that I've come to, that I will run again. I think really that's my primary message to you. We need to get out there and do everything we can to make sure that we win big in Fairfax. So if my desperate plea is, if you have time to volunteer, please get out there and help, because we need to win big here, so that it doesn't matter what happens in the rest of the state or Commonwealth. Okay. All right. Well, I think I have delayed, hopefully, enough. Although I haven't received final confirmation of that, but I am going to go back in the agenda now to the election of VRNE, especially now that the debate is over. It's 8 p.m. And we're getting a couple other people joining late. So I think this is hopefully perfect timing. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so now we are at the election for vice chair of voter registration and education. And I just want to personally start with a message that of thanks to Janice Yohai for being the voter registration and education chair for so many years, and for her passion for this, and for her volunteers and everything else. I mean, I just can't thank her enough. We did send emails about this vacancy, the resignation of Janice. And I personally have only received one nomination, and that is for Christopher Schaefer. And I'm going to open the floor to see if there are any other nominees, and I see a hand raised, so I will allow Janice Yohai to talk. Although I can't hear you, Janice. I might recommend if it's switching to phone audio. If you are having problems speaking, I don't want to. I have you unmuted. I see you're unmuted, but we're not hearing anything. Aaron is raised his hand now too. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right, Brian, I'm hoping to have her speak to you through my phone and my laptop. This is my mother speaking.
Okay, can you hear me?
Not very well.
That's not good.
Yeah, the feedback's not going to be good too.
Mom, turn off.
We'll see if we can get this fixed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, go for it, Mom.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
I'm sorry for this bad connection.
Oh, hold on, Brian. I'll keep working on this.
Okay. Can she
Mom.
switch? Can she switch to if you go to the microphone settings or whatever, you can switch to phone audio and call in.
Can you hear me?
I know she's calling you, but
Okay, we're trying this again.
okay, go ahead.
Go for it, Mom. They can hear you.
Can you hear me? Thank you. I can't hear you in response, but that's okay. I have had an outpouring of volunteers from my committee pleading with me to not step down at this critical moment. And I have to agree that it is a critical time to have continuity of leadership we have particular plans in, on the books right now that are active right now. And I think that for the next 45 days or 33 days, I should put my hat in the ring again to be reelected as the vice chair of voter registration and education. I think that I have the support and the wishes of my committee behind me. They know that I have a passion for voter registration and education, of course, and I'd like to see these plans continue on without any interruption. So I want to put my name in again as the vice chair of voter registration and education, and I would appreciate people's support of this change in plans and to elect me again. Thank you.
Okay, Janice has been nominated and seconded. I see some other hands raised, and I'm not sure, but I'll try to kind of go in order of them. I see Sue Owens. Sue, are you there? You're on mute if you're trying to speak.
Yes, I'm here. Did you ask me something? I'm sorry.
Oh, so you have your hand raised. I'm sorry if you.
Oh, I did not mean to raise my hand.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll lower your hand. No worries.
Thanks.
Okay. Christopher Schaefer. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have to agree this is a weird time to switch. I was perfectly willing to step up and fill a vacancy that was there. However, if it's okay for Janice to run again, I will withdraw my nomination.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's the process we're following or whatever. She resigned, so she is not vice chair of registration, but we will have to reelect her if we would like her to continue. So I do see a couple other hands with questions, but I will consider that withdrawn for the moment, and we can change that if we need to. Okay. Let me do this actually then. Okay, Stephen Spitz, go ahead, Stephen.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, I was just going to suggest, Brian, that you not accept Janice's resignation so we don't have to go through this process. She's, unless you have formally accepted her resignation, you just don't do it.
I mean, she resigned. I have to go back and look at when it was, but it was a while ago, and it was accepted. That's why we have, if there wasn't a vacancy, then we wouldn't have an election for it. So the unfortunately, procedurally, it has been accepted. So we will need to vote her back in.
Okay, then I move that Janice be reinstated as voter reg chair.
Second.
Okay, I do have one other hand raised. I just want to make sure I get to before, because really we're in the middle of nominations for an election, and I don't know that motion's technically in order. So if Janice is the only person nominated, then we will move forward with such a motion. Mary Ann Lako, go ahead.
No, I lowered my hand, so I have nothing to say. Can you?
I muted myself. I'm going to lower all hands again. And if you do want to speak on nominations before we get into, I know there's a question, Greg. Raise your hand now. Sarah Albamonte.
I did not raise my hand. I did by accident, but I've lowered it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just not seeing him. Okay, I am. Okay, I guess I'll recognize that I have not seen any. But to remind folks to actually make a motion, you need to be recognized. So I am not looking at chat at all. So you can't make a motion from the chat. Greg Brandon is next. Go ahead, Greg.
Thank you, Brian. I'd like to know if Janice now supports our fairfaxvotes.org website. Thank you.
Okay, it's not really a nomination, but I'll allow Janice to respond to that question if she'd like. Although I don't remember, I don't know exactly how that works. Is that through you, Erin? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yes, I support it completely.
Okay, thanks you. I have Ed Robichaux. Go ahead.
I move to close nominations.
Okay, I mean, if everyone's up for, I think we could have. Okay. If there are no other nominations, then nominations are closed. Alex has his hand raised. I'm just going to allow him to speak, but I'm assuming. Okay, so nominations then are closed, and we have one nominee, Janice Yohai. Janice Yohai has been nominated, and I'd accept a motion to elect Janice by acclamation without objection, which means you don't need to raise your hands unless you're objecting, in which case.
My hand keeps getting raised.
Well, stop clicking it. It's where it's hands are lowered right now, except for Marianne. Like I see your hand raised. So, okay. All right. Without objection, then Janice has been reelected to voter registration and education. Well, thank you. All right. Well, so I don't know that I expected that, but I do welcome it. So so great. So now we can move on to Vice Chair, Committee, and Caucus reports. And let's see if I can get appropriately there. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And if you are a committee chair, vice chair, or caucus chair and would like to make a report and you haven't previously told me, please just raise your hand and I'll get to you. I do, and I don't know if she knows that I want her to do this, but I do want to allow Tina Barczyk to say a few words. I just want to personally first want to thank everyone for your support of the Jefferson Obama dinner, and I think I want to allow Tina to do the same.
Hi, Brian. Thanks for letting me say a few words. I, again, just want to thank this committee for understanding how important this election is and supporting the largest fundraiser that we have for the year, moving an event from live to virtual and everyone accepting it because of COVID. I'm very, very grateful. There were so many participants in the silent auction, so many people who signed up, so many people who gave ads and worked hard for this. All the chairs supported it. I'm very, very grateful. And it was a very, very, very successful Jefferson Obama dinner. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's put that money to work. and let's get the Democrats elected this fall. Thanks, Brian. Oh, and just again, thank you to everyone who volunteered for that particular event, from the people who did the program, the people who helped out with all the meals, delivery, making phone calls. There was a lot of effort put into it. I can't thank everyone enough. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much. I echo that as well. And she doesn't have her hand raised, and I don't know if she has a report, but I expect maybe I don't know if there's anything from precinct operations, Maria.
Yeah, Brian, you were so eloquent. I wasn't sure if I needed to add anything to it. We're in such a tight race. We really need every single person on this call to donate an hour or 2 hours or a week to do whatever you can. We have the Virginia Turnout Project. Every single precinct is doing something. We have early elections. We're going to have satellite elections. We need to get ballots to people. We need to get GOTV activities going across the county. So please, if you're a member, it really is important for you to be involved in more than just meetings. And I would ask you to sign up and do something between now and November 2nd. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Next, I have Sandra Clausen, Chair of the National Affairs Standing Committee for FCDC.
Thank
Sandra,
you.
go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, it took today. I want to announce for those, if there's anybody yet here that doesn't know, we are having on October 7th, a National Healthcare Forum. Good, it's up there on the screen. Glad to see it. Since my last mention of it at our last meeting that it was coming, I am very thrilled to say that we now not only have Congressman Don Beyer and Bobby Scott, but Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal has accepted to speak as well. And among our national level speaker panel, we have Don Berwick, who was an Obama appointee to head up the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid in his first term. We have a top professor of economics from the University of Massachusetts who has written, from all the research I have, some of the most definitive economic analyses of healthcare. We have Susan Rogers, president of the Physicians for a National Healthcare Program, Judy Fader from Georgetown, Melinda St. Louis from Public Citizen. And we are thrilled to say that this is a statewide forum. We have many, many Democratic co-sponsors, which when you click on the link and register, you will see. We have many committees from across the Commonwealth who are co-sponsoring this event, and I invite all of you to do it. I know that some of the district chairs have already been invited by the members of our National Affairs Committee in their district to publicize it. The link is there. I invite all of you to sign up, register. It should be a really unique event, and it definitely will demonstrate to voters and everyone else that it's the Democratic Party who cares about their health care. Please sign up. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sandra. I think I saw Eddie Eich's chair of the FCDC Labor Caucus raising his hand. Eddie, do you have a report?
Yeah, I wanted to, first of all, invite everybody to our Labor Caucus meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You know, the Zoom is available. Julie Hunter, who's head of the AFL-CIO campaign committee, and the AFL-CIO has endorsed the Democratic ticket, is speaking. And it's important for people really to come, because there'll be a lot of union leaders, and to listen to our gubernatorial candidate today, it was really depressing how he kept walking away from supporting right to work for less, even though he apparently is on the record as doing it. And the real fear that I have is that union members won't turn out to vote. Not that they'll vote for Youngkin, but that they'll have hesitancy as to Terry, because, you know, in 2013, Terry said he supported the national standard, $7.25 an hour, after he was elected governor. I'm just saying that if you want to come to the meeting, Julie's going to speak, and we've asked someone from the McAuliffe campaign, but no one's coming from the McAuliffe campaign. And 7 o'clock tomorrow, and the web connection is on the FCDC website. Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie. Any other reports from Nora? Okay. Nora Adele is next.
Hey everyone, can you hear me, Brian?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Nora Dell, Chair of State and Local Affairs. I just wanted to thank my committee members who put together a great event on campaign finance reform. That's mostly the work of Deborah Woolen and David Jonas. It's available on the FCDC Facebook live stream if you want to go back and watch it. So we had that. Our committee has also formed a task force looking ahead on affordable housing reform. So if you'd like to sort of be a part of that and sort of any potential resolutions that we might be writing, send me an email and I'll make sure that you're added into the loop. And yeah, lastly, just putting in a plug for our monthly meeting, which is on the first Tuesday of every month. And I know that's kind of a chaotic time with the election, but we will be picking back up after the election as well. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nora. It looks like next is Stephen Spitz, a co-chair of the, am I blanking on the voter protection, election law and voter protection, ELVP. Oops. Stephen, go ahead.
Okay, just two quick things. One, we need people to sign up with DPVA voter protection to be inside and outside poll watchers. The link has been provided numerous times in emails from Jack, from Kristen, and others. So please do that. Another thing is, please vote early if you can. And if you vote early, please remember that you have an absolute right to vote on a hand-marked paper ballot. The registrar's office has been steering people to vote on the machine. That it's creating a lot of confusion, and there's serious problems with the machine vote. If anybody wants to discuss it with me, please give me a call, 202-330-2199. This express vote ballot marking device has run into very serious problems in other states. And please vote if you can, and ask for a hand-marked paper ballot. The way we've been voting very successfully for the last several years. But without taking too much time in terms of what the problems are, I'll be happy to talk to anybody who wants to discuss this.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Next we have Reggie Meneses. Reggie, you're gonna have to both. I have issues with Reggie and Sabrina's last names. I just can't say them correctly. But where did he go? I just want to recognize at the very least that that we have organized an AAPI caucus, and Reggie was elected the co-chair along with Sabrina. So Reggie, go ahead. And
hi,
welcome.
everybody. Okay, I'm presuming you can hear me, right, Brian?
Oh, I can.
Okay, great. Well, hi, everybody. As Brian said, Sabrina and I were elected co-chairs. Our vice chair is Jessica Sun, and Saddam Salim is our finance chair. We're excited that we're now recognized as a caucus and that we're running full steam ahead. If you'd like to be a part of our caucus, it's open to everybody. And our next virtual meeting will be Sunday, October 10th at 7 p.m. And just email us at AAPI@fairfaxdemocrats.org for further information. And the FCDC AAPI caucus will meet every second Sunday of every month from 7 to 8 p.m. We'll keep it very strict to an hour. And we have some other items that are coming up. And so we're working on getting to promote all of that through emails and other items. And also too, I'll just join in and urge everybody to definitely, if you can vote early, vote early. It's very simple. It's now no excuse voting. You just show up and they just hand you a ballot, and it's awesome. It's easy, and it doesn't take that very long. And tell your friends too that it's effortless to vote. That being said, thank you, Brian, for the time.
Yes, thank you. And next is Kelly Hebron, who is the chair of the Lee District and the chair of the FCDC Black Caucus. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. I'm speaking tonight as the Black Caucus chair. We have our monthly meeting. First, there's a reminder that we meet monthly on the fourth Sunday of every month at 7 p.m. We did meet this past Sunday. Our legislative committee has been putting together a legislative agenda. The committee is focusing, among other things, criminal justice, and we'll be proposing and putting together some issues and resolutions for focus on the upcoming legislative session in January. I want to thank our committee chairs, our co-chairs, Michelle Leet and Shirley Jenwright, for stepping up and helping to lead the legislative committee for the Black Caucus. We're also working on our first real get out the vote, and we will be sending out postcards identified to voters of color, Black voters, to get out the vote, get them voted, get them registered, and get them to the polls. We welcome, everyone's welcome, allies, as well as anyone who identifies with our affinity group. They are all welcome at our meeting. Please reach out if you have any questions for or would like to have any members to join. Everyone is welcome. Fourth Sunday of every month. Thank you very much. Oh, and I want to thank Salim for putting together, helping lead the Get Out the Vote for the Black Caucus as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kelly. And the last committee report I have a hand up for is the Education Committee, FCDC Education Committee, and Jeff Sherratt. Go ahead.
Hey, Brian and everyone. It's been a little while. I just wanted to check in with everyone because there's been some recent fun developments, as you no doubt expect from me by this point. For those, first I'll just do a quick check. Brian, you can hear me, right? I'm not just
yes, yes, I can.
Wonderful. Yeah, should have checked that earlier.
And I want to tell everyone listening that you're not elected to any position whatsoever.
That's true. Contrary to the claims of my enemies, I have not assumed ultimate power. Not yet, at least. All right. Anyway, yeah. So this isn't necessarily a very happy topic, but for those who haven't heard, at last week's school board meeting, the local GOP AstroTurf engaged in some hysterics and shenanigans about various books and materials in the FCPS libraries, to the extent that they had to be cleared out of the room, I believe. And after that, sort of hysterics were performed, immediately got amplified and boosted by Fox News and the rest of the right-wing echo chamber. And it just escalated beyond that, to the point where there have been a lot of harassing, homophobic attacks and threats on, not surprisingly, our school board member here in Providence, Carl Frisch, has been receiving a tremendous amount of them for all the usual reasons you would expect. And this comes on the heels of a bunch of weeks of them taking the opportunity to go after Abrao Maish, around the timing of the various debates in the House about in the Congress up in DC about the budget and the Iron Dome with Israel, and that was apparently their signal to go after Abrar in their usual Islamophobic patterns. So it's been very exciting, and the most recently, apparently one of the local Republicans wrote an article in the Daily Wire which outed Laura Jane Cohen's child as being trans, which was not public information up until this point. So lots been happening in a relatively short space of time. And these are the same people that we've been kind of dealing with for about a year now, who started at the whole open schools during the pandemic thing, switched seamlessly to being all super worried about critical race theory, and also worried about trans students in bathrooms, and now have decided to focus on these issues because they think that's going to help, possibly help Youngkin in November, or just attract all the nasty trolls that they know like to show up and harass our friends on the school board, as well as teachers and things like that. So I just wanted to update everyone on that and put out a notice to people that there's certain things that can be done to try and help out the school board and our friends. And one of them is Robert Rigby has been organizing people to come to the next school board meeting on October the 7th, which unfortunately overlaps a bit with Senator Clausen's excellent healthcare town hall. But if you can't make it to that one, could you try and make it to the school board meeting on October 7th? You can find the information here. Sorry, one second. Copy, and not all panelists and attendees. There we go. And yes, I believe that should take everyone to, link should go to, okay, I think that link should work. Let me know if it does not, obviously, but
Looks like it does.
Yes, excellent. So that's the next school board meeting, where we want to have as many people in attendance in the audience as possible to make sure that this small but very loud and very nasty minority of people here in Fairfax does not appear to be any sort of majority in any way that could be interpreted. And beyond that, I would highly recommend that FCDC members take a bit more focus on what's happening with the school board and all of this AstroTurf business. Spend more time going to the school board meetings, because we need to have people there showing that we support the school board, who have been doing their best to, do the type of things we elected them to do, and have been dealing with incredibly difficult situations, and they don't deserve to be getting, harassed and dragged through the mud by these same characters who happily supported Trump for 4 years. So go to the board meetings when you can. And I would also suggest people to reach out to your district chairs and ask them what you can do to help out the school board, what plans they have to help out their individual member. It's not just about donating to their page, they're donating to their Act Blue every now and then. There's other things that can be done. There's ways to help them out and coordinate and strategize, things like that. So I'm gonna try and wrap myself up as I can often keep on going. But I just wanted
I held up a sign like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So thank you, Brian. And want to give again a special shout out to the Mount Vernon Dems, who have been just awesome at organizing things. I would encourage every other district to take a look at their newsletters and the attention they've given this issue. There's a lot that can be learned from how they've been trying to counter the misinformation put out by the local GOP AstroTurf on the education issues. All right, that's it for me.
Okay, great, thank you. Not seeing any other reports, we can move on to new business. And since some people joined us late because of the debate, I'm just going to quickly go through reminders. If you'd like to be recognized to speak on a motion or to make a motion, you need to raise your hand. If you want to say something that you actually want us to see, send it in Q&A, not in chat. Things scroll by in the chat, so we might miss them. And then of course, if we conduct a virtual vote, I think most people are familiar with that, the Zoom poll at this point. Just a reminder, you might need to exit full screen. Maybe I'll stop sharing to make sure people, if I can remember, to make sure people see the poll and to give some time for folks to respond to the poll before we close it out. So moving on to the first order of business from the steering committee, the 2022-2023 reorganization resolution. This is something that we're required to do per Article 3, Section 3 of our bylaws, that at our September meeting, we determined by resolution the basis of representation of each precinct and district, and also the cap of members, the maximum number of members. Just to summarize, I'm going to pull up the actual resolution, but just to summarize maybe the things that this resolution, in my view, does. One, it sets the membership cap to 1170 voting members. That's what we currently have, 1,170 voting members, equally divided by districts. That number does not include ex officio, so like elected officials or members of the state central committee, life members, emeritus members, et cetera. So it's only kind of additional elected members to the committee, not anyone who's automatically a member of FCDC due to their position elsewhere. As required by the party plan, it reserves a spot in the committee for any precinct without a voting member. As in last time, it makes those not elected to voting membership to be associate members if we get into a situation where we are having an election and people are not winning. And it also clarifies that people may apply directly for associate membership in FCDC. The thing that's kind of new and interesting, it might be controversial, is that the proposed resolution that was approved unanimously from steering says that that 25 other registered voters who are candidates for FCDC membership may declare opposition against someone becoming an FCDC member. And this is not something that I think anyone should enter into lightly, but I think the idea is that if there is someone who is a known kind of open FCPS person or Republican troublemaker, whatever, that there is some kind of mechanism to keep people out, and maybe that will encourage people or discourage people who might be targeted by this to not try to join FCDC. There is there's a weird thing in the bylaws, in the party plan that says that people who are not opposed, if there are vacancies, are considered elected, just that reorganization. So this creates a mechanism to potentially kind of handle a situation where we have someone who really should not be joining FCDC trying to join. And then the other kind of big things here, per the FCDC bylaws, district committee reorganizations will take place from December 4th to December 11th, 2021. And the county reorganization meeting itself will be Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the full resolution on the screen as well. But it is, since it is kind of recommended by the steering committee, it is under consideration. It is on the motion. The motion is on the floor for consideration now. And I will ask if there are any hands raised, any questions, comments? Is there any discussion on this motion? I'm not seeing any hands raised. Okay, now I have a couple. Okay, Gilly, go ahead.
So I'm not sure I understand this completely. It's saying that we're limiting the number of people in FCDC to 1,170 and no one else can join?
Yes, so the way that the Democratic Party kind of works, or at least the way that a county committee is defined by the Democratic Party of Virginia is supposed to work is that you have a set number of members and you fill vacancies, right? So it's kind of like, if you're familiar with the rest of the Democratic Party of Virginia kind of organization, which maybe not everyone is, like each congressional district has 20 members, right? And then there's a couple, like if you are, and there's certain people that if they're DNC members or other things, they are also members of the Central Committee. But each congressional district committee is comprised of 20 people. So that's defined by the party plan. FCDC's bylaws say that we set a membership cap. Right now, and this might be partially because of the pandemic and kind of other factors or whatever. But right now, the number we have more than 1,000 members, but now only 599 or maybe 600 are voting members of FCDC. So we are not currently at this cap So right now that means we're basically about half full according to that number. So I don't know each district number by number of how many districts there are. I mean, how many vacancies there are in each of the districts, but based off of the construct that we have of voting members and associate members, anyone can join to be an associate member of FCDC. There are no obligations to come to our meetings or whatever. And then if you want to be a voting member to be part of our decisions, you need to apply to and be elected to such. And then you also need to attend meetings under our current bylaws to maintain that. So hopefully that answered your question, but there is a membership cap in the current bylaws, and we need to set a number.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the way it was worded. It sounded like no one else can join FCDC and become a voting, but I guess they can because we're half full. But I guess it's not really a problem until we get more people.
Right. Okay, George Becerra, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Yes, I can.
Good evening. Just a quick question. It might not be the proper place. The actual application, or if the register, I have a question on requirement of paying the dues or how that's worded. Is this the proper time, or is that going to be somewhere else down the road about how the application looks like online or in paper for people who cannot afford the dues like we did last time?
I mean, I think it's okay to ask a question about that now. I will state that that our bylaws say that if anyone cannot afford our dues, then they are waived.
Right,
that process technically happens via a waiver from the district chair.
Correct.
But that's in our bylaws now, and I don't know what we can do to change that.
No, I hear that. I guess my question, if we're going to talk about it now, then I'll ask my question, is once someone turns that in, they're asking for the waiver. Does a person have to state the reason why? And I guess what I'm saying is, why does the person, if it is, why does the person have to state a reason why, forcing a person to answer that question of why, and then the district chair deciding if that's a good or not reason? Because my understanding is they can put whatever and the chair has to accept because they asked for the waiver. I just want to make sure people are put in the spot. This was 2 years ago, we did 2 years ago before pandemic. There might be different situations now in people's lives. And I might be wrong. I just don't like to pressure people to explain why and their situational status in their lives.
So the waiver form, I don't believe in Jack can correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, that I don't believe it asks for a reason. I think it just says that you are kind of unable to pay at this time. And that's it, so we don't need to know why.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And we're not asking for tax returns or anything or whatever. Like if people say they can't pay, we're going to take them on that word.
Right, and so I want to make sure that's to the district chairs then. So thank you for giving me time, Brian.
Sure. I don't see any other hands raised, although Gilly, I see your hand raised, but okay. Let's see. I have a question on Q&A. What happens should more than 1,170 folks seek to join? So those are 1170 is divided evenly between the districts. So we have 9 districts. That means that each district can have 130 we can have 130 voting members, and at the reorganization meeting, you have an election to decide who those 130 people are. That really we are supposed to be, per kind of the way reorganization works, we are supposed to be elected to our position to represent Democrats in Fairfax County as we're making decisions about, about how all of this operates, right? About how nominations work and whatnot. So, so if any district has more than 130 members trying to be voting members, which seems unlikely currently, but I mean, we never really know. Then potentially, and we did not have that last time. We did not have an election last time when we had 1170 members. Then that district has to have an election to decide which members are elected. And also in the resolution, it also mentions, if there's only one person from the precinct who's running, they are elected. Of course, if there's opposition declared, then there's a slightly different process for that. And then the highest number, I guess it's the bottom here. All other elections will be decided by paper ballot, with those getting the highest number of votes. And maybe it shouldn't be paper ballot because right now we're kind of working on how much of this is happening in person versus how much of this is happening kind of virtually. And the resolution also adds a little bit of flexibility from that. Mort has asked a great question. What happens with district memberships after magisterial district lines are redrawn? So we should know, maybe not, but by the end of this year, I don't know if we're going to have new district lines in December, but our bylaws require that we reorganize districts in December. So we might have kind of a shuffling. There is a part in the bylaws that explains kind of how that works. But I know we should know in December, but you never know exactly. So we'll do our best to kind of allocate memberships to districts. But if there is some kind of shuffling that needs to happen, we will kind of do our best to do that. That's actually why Democratic Party of Virginia is not reorganizing until next year because they're waiting for new congressional districts. So we'll see how we fit into that timeline. Are there any other questions or comments, or are we ready for a vote? Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions or hands raised, so let's go ahead and can we do a poll? Do we have a poll? Okay, the poll, I'm going to stop sharing just so folks can hopefully that helps people see the poll for reorganization resolution. The question is, shall we adopt the reorganization resolution? Okay, the poll's been open for 36 seconds, 37 seconds. We have most votes, but the last call for votes. Okay, let's end the poll and share the results. And the reorganization resolution is adopted. So thank you for that. And next order of business is from the FCDC Women's Caucus, a resolution urging Governor Northam, the Virginia General Assembly, and the county's legislative delegation to increase childcare access and affordability across the Commonwealth. And I am looking for someone to recognize. Raise your hand if I can't find you quick enough. There you go. Kim Pollard. Oh, so.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can.
Thank you. Could I ask you to also unmute Maria Posey? She's the acting vice chair of the Women's Caucus and also the draftee of this resolution.
Sure. Okay. So just to clarify to everyone or whatever, the motion is being, or the motion, this resolution has been recommended by the Women's Caucus. So it is under it is now the motion on consideration under the floor. I didn't say that right. There's a motion on the floor for consideration right now. So go ahead.
Thank you. And it has been supported by the steering committee as well. Just
oh, that is also correct. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. I will keep this short, and certainly if people have questions, Maria and I would be happy to answer them. Yes, so we have before you the childcare expansion resolution that came out of we already had a great need in Virginia and nationwide for more expanded affordable childcare. And then we had the COVID pandemic and the shift to remote learning, which just exacerbated the challenges that our Virginia families are already facing with this affordable, accessible childcare. And we held several programs over the spring and summer and spoke to a lot of experts in the state of Virginia on these topics, childcare topics. And what they're telling us is that we will not return to even pre-pandemic levels with the access to childcare for probably several years. So again, we're now exacerbating these issues and these challenges. Just a couple of quick points. As far as our after-school programming, Virginia does not have a line item in the state budget at all for out-of-school or after-school funding. And because of this, we only have 12% of Virginia's school-age children enrolled in after-school programs. Early childcare, Virginia only operates a public preschool program for 4-year-olds, not 3-year-olds. And so this program only serves children who are deemed at risk, which includes 19% of our state's 4-year-olds. And even though we do have some Head Start and Early Head Start, those are all federally funded programs. And because of this issue, only 36% of low-income 3- and 4-year-olds attend any form of preschool, compared to 55% of the more economically advantaged peers. These statistics and plenty more place Virginia 31st in the country as far as public access to preschool. Now, Maryland, our neighbors, are ranked 13th, and DC is ranked number 1 because they have universal pre-care. It is far more affordable and accessible to our families and those in need. And I'll share just one other point, given the current climate. I'm sure we're all watching to see if we have another federal government shutdown in a couple of days. One of the major programs that will be affected if the government shuts down is that child tax credit, which was put forth as part of the American Rescue.
Sorry, that is your time. So go ahead and wrap up.
Thank you. So with that, we are asking, this resolution is asking for support for the governor and the gubernatorial candidates to make this issue a priority. We're asking the Democratic members of the General Assembly to commit to establishing universal funding for childcare. And we're asking to join the Virginia Promise Partnership, which is comprised of organizations and individuals working to ensure that all Virginia families have access to affordable quality childcare by 2030.
Okay, thanks. I'll recognize Maria. I'll recognize Maria for next. Allow for any other hands, and then if people have questions, we can get to that. So go ahead, Maria.
Hi, thank you so much, Kim, for that incredibly helpful overview. The only thing I'll share as having drafted up this resolution is that this is incredibly personal to me. I am the mother of a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old and have seen firsthand throughout the pandemic and even before just how hard it is to juggle work and family life and any sort of extra activities for yourself or for your children, given just the extreme lack of comprehensive care for kids of all ages. And while there's currently federal attention on the preschool bracket for 3- and 4-year-olds, there's that is only 2 years of a child's need. And we know that infant care, for example, is woefully inadequate. There are vast childcare deserts in this state where even if you can afford it, you can't even find qualified childcare. The demands and expectations to provide high quality care make it incredibly hard for childcare providers to keep their operations And salaries for childcare educators are, barely above minimum wage. So the whole industry needs an overhaul. We're asking for your support in making this a priority with our current elected officials, as well as any incoming administration. And we know there are a lot of requests and a lot of demands, but we really feel and ask for your support in putting this at the top of the agenda.
Okay, thanks, Maria. Are there any? I thought I saw a hand, but it disappeared. So there's Debbie. Go ahead, Debbie.
Yes, hi. Thank you, Brian. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Yes, this resolution, after it was approved by steering, did come back to me with a request to share it with our education committee members, which I did. And those that did responded very positively. And so I just wanted to add from the education committee that we'd support this resolution. It is all about taking care of our children. And as we know, if families have childcare, they can have a more effective education experience going forward.
Okay, thanks, Debbie. Next, I'd like to recognize Kelly Price.
I just wanted to say, in accepting this resolution, you're accepting to join the partnership. And so I think all of us as members need to realize, if you vote yes for this, and we do, that we do have to support them. And that might mean time and effort in supporting whatever it is that they're fighting for. It's not just a matter of joining them, because they're going to probably need our manpower. And so you have to think of that also as a commitment, and be willing to actually step up and put in the time to help, whatever they might be needing help with. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Brian, this is Kim. I'll just say, and I'm sorry, I don't know who made the last comment, but thank you for raising it. And as Maria just put in the comments, there is no binding commitment, either financial or otherwise, for joining the Promise Partnership. It really is just us saying that we promise to work towards this goal. That said, as the Women's Caucus, we are holding ourselves to a higher standard of saying this is not just lip service. If this resolution passes, we will be working hard, and we would love the support of everyone in doing that.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands or questions. So without that, we can go ahead and call the question. And just for simplicity, we're going to do that by poll. So I will stop sharing, and hopefully everyone can go and see the poll and respond. Okay, most people have responded, but I'm going to give it another kind of 5 or 10 seconds. So if you haven't made a selection now, please make that choice now. Okay, I've given a minute, so let's go ahead and we have ended the poll, and we can share the results. And the resolution is adopted with 4 nays. So thank you, everyone, for that consideration. And okay, I think the next thing is there any other new business? Not seeing any requests to be recognized. So let's move on to announcements. And I see some people lining up for announcements. Feel free to kind of send information about your announcements in the chat as well. And please be as brief as possible. I'll try not to cut anyone off. First is Lola Quintela. Lola, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right, quick one. The Rides to the Polls program is up and running. So if you would like to be a volunteer to provide rides to the polls during early voting and election day proper, visit the website and you will see a purple box up top where you can sign up to be a volunteer to drive voters to the polls. If you know of someone who needs a ride to the polls, you can call the office and leave your name and number, and the person will enter your information on the website, or you can enter it yourself, again, by visiting FCDC's website and clicking on the purple square at the top of the page. We're up and running. We have volunteers ready to drive our voters to the poll. Every vote's counts, even those votes from people who do not have access to transportation. So let's drive our voters to the polls. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lola. Thanks for organizing that. We really appreciate it. I know the voters appreciate it too. Next, I'd like to recognize Saddam Salim, co-chair of the Providence District. Saddam, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I just want to do a plug-in for Providence is having a dinner discussion with Dr. Cassandra Newby-Alexander. And she's going to be talking about one of her recent books, Virginia Waterways and the Underground Railroad, how in the during the slavery era, how that helped freed a lot of the slaves. And she'll be talking about that from the 1830s through the 1860s time period. Again, this is one of our, and we'll have some of our local elected officials there as well. Dinner discussions, I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat. It is where if you sign up through our link, your dinner will be delivered to you as soon as we get to the, as soon as it gets to 7 o'clock, your dinner will get to you between 6:30 and 7. So if you could come to this, we would very much likely appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, I would like to recognize Jimmy Bierman, chair of the Drainsville District.
Hi, folks. I just wanted to invite everybody to the Drainsville Dems annual Fall Festival this Sunday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Stephanie Sedgwick's house in Herndon. Everything's going to be outdoors and outside. It'll be a great time for us all to get together. Your contributions are very much appreciated, and they're going towards our campaigns this fall. We're sending postcards. We've got door hangers. We are getting out and blanketing our portion of the county and other portions of the county to try and elect Dems up and down the ticket. So I've dropped the link in the chat and hope to see you on Sunday. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks, Jimmy. Next, I have Mark Kennedy. Mark, go ahead. And Mark is the what's your title? You're the chair of the small business committee, small business caucus for Virginia Dems, for all of Virginia Dems. Yes.
Yes, and fantastic. Let's get fired up, folks. We're giving a free event this coming Saturday where we're going to be looking to support all of our statewide candidates and Mount Vernon's 5 local delegates that's running. So come on out to a free event with Casa Tequila in Lorton, Virginia. Mi Casa, Su Casa Democrats. Voter rally. Get fired up. We're ready to go, and come on out and support us. Of course, we won't be buying drinks, but we will be providing appetizers and soft drinks. And we've got some fantastic speakers that are going to be coming to the event as well. So we hope to see you there 6 to 8 p.m. Casa Tequila, Lorton, Virginia, free event. Get fired up, bring your friends, make sure you're registered, and let's get ready to win this thing on November 2nd and vote early. That's it. Thanks, Brian. Hello.
I muted myself. Thanks, Mark. There was a question about there's a question about the link to Rise the Polls. You can just send people to our website, fairfaxdemocrats.org, and there's a button right at the top, Rise the Polls. So that's the link, fairfaxdemocrats.org. Next is Jim McBride.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if I have to turn on my video or something. Or...
You don't. I think I have to make you a presenter to allow you to turn on your video.
Oh, okay. All right. No big deal. I actually have Will Rumford. I believe he might have just joined the Zoom. So I'd almost like cede my time to him, I guess. But basically, the announcement is about the relational organizing program, which is rolling out in a big way. We just had a debate party tonight with 30 or 40 folks, training them on how to use the Reach app to engage their friends, get them to move up the ladder of engagement a little bit more, make sure they vote, make sure they early vote, make sure they volunteer, or do more than they were already. So, Will, I don't know if you want to talk about it, or I don't know if he does he need to raise his hand or something to?
Well, he logged in with your link, so let's see if I can find the other names.
What? It's a unique link? Or something?
Yep. Okay. But it is a good point. I mean, the best way to get people to vote is like get, your friends, friends and friends of your friends to go vote. So I think I allowed him to talk.
Yeah, hi, hello. This is I'm not Jim, I'm Will. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you letting me hop on. Just to make a quick plug. We are very excited to be rolling out a relational Get Out the Vote program that is incredibly powerful. It is the same tool that John Ossoff's campaign used to help mobilize 35,000 more voters who turn out in the runoff than who then showed up in the general. Those are all unique voters. We're very, very excited about it. We're using a tool called Reach. I've shared I shared a link, I believe, with the hosts and panelists here. I'm happy to provide my info. My email is really easy to remember. It's will@virginiaturnout.org. And I am running our relational program that's built really in large part on the recent success in John Ossoff's campaign. And basically, we're expecting we can get an additional 10,000 to 20,000 IDs from this process in a way that will complement and support the work that's already happening, rather than try to grab hold of the whole thing and tell everyone run in a different direction. This is just another tool in our toolkit. And I just have to say one more thing here. We are seeing a lot of encouraging signs from local campaigns, committees, and grassroots groups who are running with this thing. They found creative ways to use it, and some candidates who are, it's just them and their and their campaign manager. They are literally using this like their own van, basically, and others are using it to talk to people at the doors, and those who are not on their list, they can use this app to add them and make sure they're canvassed. The bottom line is that this is a way to make sure we're not leaving any vote on the table, and we're making this a more inclusive and more and strong turnout that could really make a difference and give us the boost we need to win.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We included the link a couple of times in the chat there, the VA Relational Organizing Guide. Click on that link. There is okay.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Next is Bill Millhauser. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. I just want to provide a brief update on the Virginia Redistricting Commission work. The commission is working this week to finalize a set of draft statewide maps for the state Senate and the state House of Delegates. The map should be done later this week or perhaps this weekend. These maps will be able to be reviewed by the public next week. There's going to be 8 public hearings, 2 each Monday through Thursday. You can speak at any of these virtual hearings. You have to register like 12 hours before the actual hearing begins, or you can provide written comments. They've tried to organize the comments around regions, and the Northern Virginia region hearing is scheduled for October 4th, 4 p.m. That may not allow people much time to actually review the maps. So you can provide comments virtually at any of the 8 hearings. And again, you can provide comments in writing. And I'll put the link to the district website in the chat.
Thanks, Bill. That's a great point. I mean, we have redistricting going on. So we're right in the middle of that, and they would love comments. I know they would love comments from everyone. So a great reminder. Thank you. Next, I have Maritza Zermenio, the chair of the Mount Vernon district.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everybody. Wonderful meeting. Thank you. And I just want to invite everybody on Sunday to come and meet Kathy Tran at Intact Politics at the Potomac this Sunday from 3 to 5. And you can find the information at mddemocrats.com as at montvernon.democrats.com. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. I think that's it. Unless I'm mistaken, there are no more hands. I see hands popping up again. I'm assuming those are not people that need to talk again, but I think that's it. So unless I'm wrong. Okay. Oh. What? All right. There being no additional business before this committee, we are adjourned. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 23rd, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. I know that's the week of Thanksgiving, but that's when our meeting is scheduled for, and that's at Marshall High School. Right now, that's presumed to be a hybrid meeting, and of course, we don't. Well, I guess we'll see if it stays that way. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us in our meeting today, and just remind everyone again, this is a very important election. It's a close election, and we need to do everything we can to get our friends, our family, our neighbors out to vote. So find some time and get out there. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.